Hey, what's up, guys? So, we had the pleasure of going to see Dawn of the Dead in theaters and also in 3D, which is kind of weird but kind of cool because I don't really know. There's not much in that movie to really put in 3D. So, there was a little bit of glass breaking, some heads that exploded. If you've seen the movie, you kind of know there are some pretty good head explosions with zombies and just other people in general. It's definitely top five favorite movies of all time and top two horror movies of all time. Nightmare on Elm Street and Dawn of the Dead really, one and two, there's not really a big wiggle room in between those two. I just love them. So, obviously, you can probably see right behind me some of the shelves are a little bare. That has to do with what this video is kind of about. So, I kind of want to just go over Dawn of the Dead, talk about how great it is, just talk it up because, again, I love the movie, so there's not really anything bad that I can say about it. The movie was directed by George Romero. Screenplay was also done by him. You all know Night of the Living Dead. I'm hoping you know Dawn of the Dead. I don't know why you wouldn't. And then also Day of the Dead as well. He's done a lot of other, of the Dead sequels and stuff like that throughout his years. But these three are really the ones that stand the test of time. They're just great movies overall. This movie, because of the good success from Night of the Living Dead, definitely gives us a bigger budget. It comes in around $640,000 or so. You'll definitely see the shift in tone, a bigger area, more extras, definitely more gore, stuff like that you get more on top of what Night of the Living Dead was. But, that budget was bare. He kind of made it and, seemed like in his backyard. But that movie had great success too. This movie, coming out in 1978, did about $66 million in sales for the box office, which is phenomenal in those times, especially for zombie and horror movies. This movie really just picks up kind of right after where Night ended. So you see the ending scene. I guess I don't want to spoil Night of the Living Dead, but it's been out for a couple years now, so you probably should have already seen it if you want to see it. But either way, I won't spoil that movie. But this movie kind of starts off right after that. It shows the horde kind of getting bigger, more zombies. Obviously, it's a bigger budget, so you're going to have more zombies regardless. But this kind of dives into society breaking down. There's a lot of good undertones to this movie. We'll kind of get into a little bit here and there. Just talking about more or less how the movie was made and different areas and stuff like that. This movie dives more into society breaking down and kind of shows you almost every man for himself, really. It starts out as a big group. You see a newscast, and then everybody slowly is kind of trickling out, thinking, oh, well, shit, zombies are coming. Why am I here doing the news? Nobody's ever watching anyways. One cool little tidbit about that scene is you can actually see George Romero. I'll try and either post a video over this or, the still shot or something. But it's cool because you can see George Romero kind of a little cameo. He's in like the bottom left. He's just basically in the control room talking on the headset to somebody. It's a cool kind of little, fun fact, I guess you would call it. Maybe it's a fact. I don't know. I guess it's a fact because it's true. But it's just a cool thing that George Romero kind of jumped in his own movie. So then after the opening scene of kind of the police raid, and you kind of see more of the effect of zombies and people holding them in houses and kind of thinking, hey, they're not actually dead, maybe they can come back from this. Then you kind of jump into a small little story about just four people, and that's really who you kind of follow the entire story after that. So you follow Stephen, Peter, Roger, and Fran. So obviously Peter and Roger are a part of basically a SWAT team who did the raid. They kind of see everything that's happening, and they're screw this, I'm getting out of there. And then you have Steven, who's considered Flyboy. I have a couple things I'm going to show as well, but he's considered Flyboy, and he's the pilot. He's going to fly everybody in a helicopter away from major cities because you really don't want to be in major cities when there's zombies. That makes sense, right? So they're flying around Pennsylvania, just kind of trying to find somewhere to go, maybe get gas for the helicopter, anything like that. And they come across this big mall and they're thinking, okay, well, cool, it must be nuclear. All of the lights are still on. Let's go in there. Let's look for some stuff. And that's kind of mainly where the rest of this movie takes place. You see kind of outside of the area a little bit here and there, but for the most part, that's about 80% of this movie. But it's really great. You know, obviously they get down in there. What they end up doing is taking over the mall, blocking everything up. That way they can kind of just live a simple life. This movie really kind of dives into consumerism, and even if you're a zombie, you still want to go to the mall. You still want to go buy stuff. You know, especially to the main characters. A lot of what they do is they go around into different stores and shop, and you know, they take money from the bank, and you know, they're living this luxury life inside of a mall, even though there's zombies 30, 40 feet away from them outside that just can't get in because they don't have leverage to break any windows or anything like that to get in, which is smart. Basically, throughout the movie, it shows them kind of living a subtle life. They're getting along. Then, you know, stuff happens. I don't really want to spoil too much of the movie, but people start to die and get bitten by zombies, as a zombie movie kind of happens. That makes sense, right? And there's a huge biker gang that sees, you know, hey, they got a helicopter, they have this luxury life inside this mall. We want that too. So then obviously you get a cool little cameo from Tom Savini. I guess I wouldn't say it's really cameo because he plays a major part. He's kind of one of the leaders, I guess you would say. But in this, you know, this whole raiding of the mall, that's where kind of the shit breaks down and opens up. Zombies get in, people die, people get bitten. I will say this, in theaters, the blood definitely looked a little bit more like blood. I don't know, maybe if they had a color touch up. I know the 4K as well kind of did the same thing. But it definitely looked more gory because of the blood being, you know, actual blood color. If you've seen the movie, you kind of know what I'm talking about, where the blood is more of like a bright reddish. I know Tom Savini, that was one thing that kind of bugged him with that, the blood, was because he didn't have his signature, you know, blood recipe that he uses for everything else now. He kind of said that he didn't have that at the time. So unfortunately the blood does look a little bit weird. It looks better after the touch-ups, but it still's not the best. So with that being said, kind of going over the movie, before I have a couple things in front of me, around me, that I'll go through. I love Dawn of the Dead, so you'll kind of see it here. But if you could, like, subscribe, comment down below. Have you seen the movie? Do you have any of what I'm going to show you? I know some people have a couple of them, especially the box set. The 4K box set's amazing. I did I think my favorite top 2 box sets of all time that I own, and that was one of them. So if you're looking for a more in-depth kind of look, that should be in one of my videos. I'll try and link it down below as well. That way you can kind of see more of, like, it gives you a book, it gives you a novelization of the movie, gives you a bunch of different cuts. But let's get into it. So we'll jump into the different versions of the movies. I'm a big fan, so I've kind of collected different cuts and versions of the movie. But with that being said, just the original, you know, Dawn of the Dead DVD. I mean, it's nothing special. It's bare bones. I think it's Anchor Bay. Yeah, Anchor Bay. I mean, who had the rights to do this movie for quite a while. You'll see kind of in the other versions that I have. But yeah, I mean, Anchor Bay is just a regular DVD. I wanted to watch the movie. Next one is going to be the Blu-ray copy. So this is the one that was out of print for a really long time. I mean, it still is out of print, but this was the one that was most sought after because it's Blu-ray. It was the best quality you could get this movie. Again, done by Anchor Bay. This movie still sells for probably $40-ish or so. But obviously the 4K really kind of kicked that one to the curb. The one I really am excited about, I've never actually seen this in person. I found this at a flea market that I went to this weekend. But it's the DVD set of, I believe it's Synapse and Anchor Bay kind of both came together on this. But, I mean, I don't want to go too in-depth because the video is probably going to be really long. But it's got a nice little comic book, and it gives you every cut of the movie. The one thing I'm really excited about, though, is, I don't know if you can see it right there, but it's basically a documentary about the movie and all of that. I haven't actually seen the entire thing. I've seen clips here and there, but I'm excited to jump into this. Plus, I got it for a really good deal. The guy really loved Dawn of the Dead, so he knew kind of it was going to a good home. He gave it to me for $20. This easily sells $40, $60, $80, depending on, you know, where you're buying it from and how you find it. But either way, and then obviously the Piece de la Resistance, the 4K box set. Like I said, I have another video that kind of goes more in depth in this. So if you want to watch that, we'll just kind of open it up real quick. You can just see really what's in it. But I mean, it's pretty stacked. It's got all the movies. It's got all the soundtracks on CDs. It's got a couple different books behind the scene. It's great. I mean, all the cuts are really good. I like the director's cut the most. But Argento really kind of brings the horror into his cut, which he doesn't make it as, you know, jokey or campy, which, I mean, it's what you prefer, really. So that's all the versions of the movies, the Blu-ray, DVD, box sets, 4Ks, all those cool things. But like I said, I like Dawn of the Dead. I like collecting certain things when I find them. Some are a lot harder to find than others, but these are kind of the collectibles that I really enjoy, and I love to display. As you can see, they're all behind me. Some things I still have in storage, so I unfortunately can't show you, but I did grab a couple things here and there to kind of display or show you, just because I think they're cool. I think I enjoy them. I like looking at them. I like displaying them. So if you like Dawn of the Dead, maybe you haven't even seen some of these things. Maybe you like them. Maybe you want to go out and get them. Find them on Amazon, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Well, probably not, actually. But right here, this is Flyboy. This is the Japanese figure. He's really... I've only found him one time in person, but I just love it. I mean, he comes with a bunch of extra stuff. Let's see if I can get a good close-up on here. There we go. That works. But yeah, I mean, he comes with a bunch of extra stuff. I mean, I guess spoilers, he turns into a zombie. Yeah. But I absolutely love this. It took me a hard time to find it, and now I think it sells for $160, $180. I really don't even know how much I paid for it. I think I bought it at a Comic-Con for maybe $20, $30 tops. But that was also 8, 10 years ago. This next one is one of my favorites, but it's the Mezco 1 in 12. And again, it's Flyboy, but then it's also one of the zombies. Let's get a close-up right here. Let's just block myself out so you guys can see. But I still have it in a package. I don't know, I just feel bad taking it out. But these are, you know, high quality, really good. They look great. And then all of the clothing is actually cloth. It's not done like any of the NECA figures where a lot of it's, you know, well, some of the NECA figures, I guess I would say, are, you know, this is all cloth. This is all, I mean, it's really good quality. It's 1 in 12. I have a old school Daredevil costume that's 1 in 12 as well. But I just love this thing. I mean, I just in general, I mean, since it's got the cool logo, the actual main logo, it just looks good on display. I mean, I don't know, I love it. And then I don't have a lot of Living Dead dolls. I have these two, and I think Freddy's up here. But the two that I did get, obviously, one of the zombies. I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Living Dead dolls. Like, I have some of them, but they're also characters of, you know, movies and, you know, Freddy Krueger. Who doesn't like Freddy Krueger? But, you know, I love these. And then I got the next one right here, which is just Flyboy, which just looks, you know, great, especially all the coloring. And you see the blue face. That was really prevalent in the movie, where they have the zombies are blue-faced instead of like that grayish dead kind of tone. They look different, but I still love them. But that's it, guys. You know, that's my small review of the movie. That was all of my copies. That was some, like maybe 40-50% of my Dawn of the Dead stuff. Like I said, I have other stuff other places, but I couldn't get to them, and I really wanted to get this video out. I saw the movie. I love the movie. It was great to see in theaters for the first time that I probably will ever see it in theaters. But regardless, what did you guys think? Did you like the movies? Do you like the movie? Do you watch any of the other cuts? Which cut do you prefer? And did you like any of my, action figures and stuff like that? Models? What'd you think? We'll see you later.